us as a feeding entity, Charolais cattle are super efficient, number one. With high priced corn and the environment that we've been in for the last 2 or 3 years, we see a huge benefit in trying to buy as many Charolais cattle as we can, because it saves us money on the feeding side. You'll have a set of Angus heifers that'll convert at a 6.2 or 6.3, have a cost gain of $1.45 or 50. And right next to them, I can have a pen of Charolais cattle that I feed in an additional 30 days. I get more carcass weight, I get more yield, and at the end of the day, I get a larger paycheck. Those cattle are converting at a 5.5, 5.6. Cost gains $1.25, $1.30. So at the end of the day, it's a dollars and cents game for us, and those animals bring us a huge benefit on that side. We can take those same animals and hang them on the rail, and we're grading 90% choice, we're hitting 5-6% prime, and we're not getting discounted for lightweight carcasses. Number one, we're not getting discounted for yield grade 4s and 5s, and we just feel like at the end of the day, it is a really good product that we're putting on the table for consumers. But from a flexibility standpoint, we truly feel like Char genetics in general give us a really large marketing window. When our black-hided cattle are done, they're done. We don't have an opportunity to continue to feed those cattle to hit a marketing window or hit a better market. When they're finished, they're finished. And if you continue to feed those cattle, you're going to see a lot more 5s, you're going to see a lot more 4s, and you're really not putting on any more yield. So it very much throughout the Tyson plant fire and COVID, we got to learn that our Char genetics allowed us a huge amount of flexibility. It gives us a much larger marketing window. Those cattle can be finished at, let's say, 180 days, and I could feed those cattle an additional 60. And the only thing that occurred for us is our grade went up, our carcass weights went up, and our yield went up. We didn't give up anything on the feed efficiency, and we didn't run into the issues that you can get with some of the black-hided cattle. Once they're done, you start having a tremendous amount of AIPs, you start having cattle going down. Structurally, we've seen quite a few problems with the Angus cattle in general, that we just have not been seeing with the Charolais cattle. As a whole, we really appreciate what the breed has brought to our business, because it's given us an ability to fight the markets when we need to. But at the same time, if we like the market and those cattle are finished, we're able to market those cattle, and we're still extremely happy with what we get. So if I'm a cow-calf producer, which we work with several cow-calf producers across the state of Kansas, and one of the things that we've tried to explain to all of our customers is number one, the pounds at weaning that they're going to pick up. Heterosis is an amazing tool, and I really feel like we've forgotten as an industry what that can do for our producers. You can sell a calf weighing 550, or you can sell a calf weighing 6 1/4. That's a Charolais animal. At the end of the day, pounds pay. They're running that same cow with the same inputs, with the same management, and they're going to get more dollars. And that for me is something that I've tried to instill in all my customers, that, hey, use heterosis, use the tools that we know work, and pick up that hybrid vigor. I mean, it's such a huge tool. Another thing that we found with a lot of these Charolais calves is, from a health standpoint, we don't see some of the health issues that we're seeing with some of the black-hided cattle. They seem to come on feed and start and stay healthy, and that's a really big deal right now. Health has been such a huge issue in the industry as a whole, and a lot of it is anything from BRD to an AIP. All these things are a problem that has continued to get worse over time. And I know all these producers are using the same vaccines and good management practices, but we're still seeing a rise of these issues. And you can't help but think that that has to do with how line bred our Angus genetics are getting. And I really feel like the Angus breed as a whole does a great job raising a cow. There is not a better cross in my mind than a black-nosed Char calf. You get your hybrid vigor, you get your grade, you get your carcass weights, you take that cutability and you improve it. And to me, it's really what the breed is made for. So if I'm a commercial cattle producer and I have an Angus-based cow herd, I start looking at what are the issues with my cow herd. What are the things that I can do to improve my product that I'm creating, right? And there's some things that you can look at in the Angus breed as a whole. Structurally, they have some issues. From a yield standpoint, they have a few issues. From a feed efficiency standpoint, they have some issues that we all know are there. From a cow standpoint, I can't criticize the cows and mothers that those animals are. They're amazing. From a grade standpoint, I could never criticize the grade that those animals put on a carcass. But I do feel like if I'm a commercial producer and I'm selling pounds, it's a pretty easy decision for me to go, I want to use a Charolais bull, because I know that just off the hybrid vigor alone, we're going to pick up 50 to 75 pounds. And if I'm selling a calf right off the cow, that's just free money that I can put in my pocket as a producer. And, I feel like there's this myth out there that feedlots and backgrounders are turned off by Charolais calves. And I would dispel that myth. I mean, I've been to multiple markets and I've seen multiple groups of calves that have topped the market that are Charolais cattle. I think if I was to coach commercial producers, the number one thing for a buyer is uniformity. Having big groups of uniform calves. So I'm going to tell them, hey, shorten your calving window up 60 days. Have a big group of uniform calves. Lot size is such a huge issue when you start looking at prices of feeder animals. A lot of times, the larger the group of calves, the higher the price you're going to get. Backgrounding those calves, that's just another premium. Agent sourcing those animals and allowing the feed yards to have some of that information. Data is so huge right now in this industry, it matters to the people that are buying them. But I would tell them it didn't matter if they had a group of cows that were Herefords all the way to Angus, and you have this really convoluted group of cows. You can put a Charolais bull on those cows, and you're going to produce a uniform set of calves, because they're all going to be a uniform color, have a uniform, just structure in general. And it really, as a buyer and an owner of a feed yard, those things matter to us, because they matter to the packer at the end of the day. So I guess more than anything, I would just like to say that I would completely disagree with the myth that's out there that, black-hided is king, because there's so many benefits that come along with those Charolais cattle. Crossbreeding has been shown for generations to make these animals bigger, and it's a free dollar bill. I mean, that's what it is. And it also, in the feeding sector as a whole, we see a big difference in the Charolais cattle versus our black-hided cattle. From a health standpoint, there's so much more heat tolerance. These guys that are calving in the spring, what they don't realize is those cattle go on feed in the fall, and a lot of times those calves are going to get fed through the heat of the summer. And those Charolais calves, they continue to come to feed when it's hot. We don't have the heat stress, and we don't lose that consumption and the gain that we do in the black-hided cattle. So it's been a really amazing tool for our business, because we can buy those calves in the fall and feed them for several days, utilize that pen space, and not have the heat stress and the consumption issues that we can see at times.